Okay, welcome to the team call for Wednesday, June 6th, kicking off our June 1st is officially summer to me. So official first summer team call. You're gonna be a good boy? Okay. I am excited for our guest speaker tonight. Amy has spoken on our call a couple times now, but I think it's been almost 2 years. So we're excited to have you back. Before I introduce the wonderful and amazing, do you guys have any recognition or shout outs that you would like to do for this week? You can unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Kind of, yes.
Sorry, I'm in the truck. I wanted to shout out Krista. I forgot to last week, but she's 2-star qualifying. And my brand new coach, Natasha, she didn't even know what Success Club was yet. She's so new, but she's already hit it just by sharing what she loves. And I'm really proud of both of them.
That's amazing. Doesn't even know what Success Club is, and whoops. Congratulations. You're a natural. And of course, congrats to Krista. Her and I were chatting behind the scenes. 2-star qualifying is probably, I want to say, one of the biggest milestones in coaching, because you get to open when you officially hit 2-star. You have to hold it for 6 weeks, then you're official. You get to clone yourself and open another business center, which means more opportunity to earn more team cycle bonuses and change more lives. So big deal. And of course, shout out to Kelsey, who has helped her get to 2-star, and she hit diamond last week. Awesome. Anyone else? I've done all my shout outs so far this week in the team page. The hard thing about being in my position is there's always so many shout outs, and I never want to miss anyone. So, sorry, was someone talking?
Me.
Oh,
Amanda. I want to shout out my new coach, Jackie. She just signed up her first new coach.
Yes, Jackie. Bring everyone to the team. I love it. Amanda, your lipstick looks fabulous.
See your lap?
Yeah, here. Okay, Dad's here to save the day.
It's my bald head.
Okay. Anyone else? Any shout outs? Advancements? All right, guys. I would love to introduce our guest speaker, who is now it's public knowledge that she is expecting her first, and I just went through all that. So I remember speaking to her at leadership, and when I hated being pregnant, she's like, "Tell me all about it." And so I hope you're enjoying it more than me. But it's the most magical, special, amazing thing ever. Congrats on your new house. So when I posted in the team page that you were speaking tonight, everyone was so excited. And I have always called you a silent mentor. So long before we even met, you were someone that I looked up to, and I would always watch what you were doing, and I said, okay, that's what I got to do. So you've always been a silent mentor to me and my team. So Amy Silverman is currently #1 in the network.
Not anymore. I just got a phone call.
Okay, well, was until the phone call. Are you 2 now?
Yeah, I'm 2 now.
Hey, well, you're still #1 in my book, okay? So she's been an elite top 10 coach 5 years in a row. So, I mean, being #1, #2, #3, any of that is amazing, but she's been in the top 10 for 5 years. 3 years in a row, she's been top 3 coach. She's been elite 7 years. She's already elite this year, so I was incorrect. I told you guys, I think 6-time elite. She's 7 years. She's a Success Club 10 legend, an executive leader. If you guys are wondering what that is, I just shared our leadership ladder report for this month, or for last month in April. So if you don't know what the leadership ladder is, you definitely want to learn more about that. It is in our team training. But after you learn about Success Club and Emerald and Diamond, I think it's good to take a look and learn more about the leadership ladder. She has been on the CAB, which is the Coach Advisory Board. So when we want things to change or we have suggestions, those coaches on the advisory board go to bat for us. And so I'm sure that was amazing, a crazy experience. I know really There a lot of work goes into that, and she's of course a Million Club member. So I've asked her to come on tonight, and we're so thankful for your time to talk about her top tips for achieving the rank of Diamond. We are on a huge Diamond push right now, and I spoke on her Diamond push in her, I think it was like a pre-summit Diamond push. That group had so much energy, and I'm learning from you guys. And so now she's going to return the favor and share with us. So Amy, I'm going to stop talking and I'll let you take over.
Thanks for the recognition. So yeah, thanks for having me on. Colleen has always been somebody that I've loved ever since that I met her and saw her, and my team loves Colleen, and I'm so honored to be here. And, you know, it's funny because Colleen, I was like, oh, I'm number one, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to change by the time your team call happens, because my partner is Ashley Molstead for Summit. And so I know what's going on with her and her business, and I'm at a completely different time in my life than she is. And I just know that she's going to make it happen. And it's really not a priority of mine. But it's interesting because, you know, I wanted to talk to you guys about Diamond, but I also want to talk to you about priorities, because the reason why I have stayed in the top 10 for as many years as I have is because I keep my priorities straight. I'm very competitive, but I also know my personality type. And my personality type values having fun and the lifestyle that Beachbody gives me over recognition. And my primary personality type is a Sapphire, and the Sapphires are motivated by fun. And my second personality type is a Ruby, which is motivated by winning, money, you know, very competitive. And so my first order of business for you guys is that if you do not know yourself, meaning you don't know what motivates you, you don't know your personality type, you need to get really good at knowing yourself, because I feel like that is what's kept my head straight all these years. This is the first year that I've ever been number one before. And it was very exciting, but I had to also remember that number one, while it's fun to push for and it keeps me in the top 10, it's not what defines me. It's not what defines my team. And it's not why I'm a coach. I'm not here to be the best. I'm just here to be the best version of myself. And one of the negative characteristic traits of a Ruby is that if they're not winning, they want to quit. And so what I always have to do when I get to these points in my business where, you know, where I'm like, oh, I want to be number one, and my Ruby tries to take over, what it ends up doing is it ends up demotivating me, because my Sapphire would rather have fun. And that's my primary personality type. And so if I'm not having fun, because I'm not winning, I don't want to play. So I completely had to reprioritize. And let me tell you, getting pregnant helped me so much, because ever since I found out I was pregnant, I'm going to get emotional. I'm so hormonal right now. I can't talk without crying. But I just feel so fulfilled. I told Ashley, I was like, I don't even care about Beachbody right now. I just don't. But that doesn't mean that I don't show up for my team, that I don't show up for my business. I hit Success Club 147 last month. I've created 5 new diamonds this year. I was looking at my elite report, and I've created 275 leadership development points so far this year. And I'm doing better. My team is doing better this year than it was last year. So I just want to make it very clear that while my priorities were about being number one, and now they're about enjoying my pregnancy, you know, we bought a house, so now we're homeowners, and I want to enjoy this whole journey, and I want to be 100% in it, and I don't want to let myself get in my own way. So a lot of times we get in our own way. And so while I'm there was a part of me that was you know, wanting to be number one, there's a bigger part of me that would rather just, you know, my goal is to be in the top 10 for 10 years in a row. That has always been my goal. And that's what I'm sticking to. That's my goal. And to just have fun with this business. If I don't have fun with this business, I don't want to do this business. So for me, I have to get out of comparison game. I have to not compare my life to somebody else's life, to how much somebody else is willing to work. And here's the deal. What it comes down to is that somebody else is just willing to do more than I am. They just are. And I'm just not willing to do that. And I have to be completely honest with myself. That being said, I still have to work very hard to reach my goals. So, but knowing my priorities makes it so much better. So I know you guys are pushing for diamond, but I just wanted to say that because I think that goes along with diamond. I think that goes along with leadership is knowing yourself good enough to be able to lead yourself in a way, like to be able to tell my leaders that are all pushing for 5-star, like they wanted number one really bad. And I knew we were going to fall. So last week I got on the phone with them. I'm like, look guys, like number one is great, but what's more important is all of you going elite. And if you all go elite, then we'll get number one. So let's just focus on you getting elite. So we all changed our goals and priorities, started talking about their earnings. And Colleen was right, you guys. If you are not racing to 2-star, that needs to happen because let me tell you, it is not a myth. I tell my coaches, you want to be a 6-figure earner, you need to open that second CBC ASAP. And one of my coaches, she's like told my other coach the other day, it is not a myth. She went from making like $8,000 a month to like $15,000 a month from opening up her second CBC this year. And that is a huge income jump. And it's all because of her work ethic and cycling everything through her second CBC. But in order for you to get to 2-star, you first have to get to diamond. So I wanted to tell you my 5 tips to getting to diamond, and then hopefully you don't just take this and keep it for yourself. Hopefully you take this and then you set up a call with all of your working coaches and you help them to understand what it takes to get to diamond because you'll never reach your goals if your team doesn't reach their goals. That needs to be your utmost priority. So number one, having a vision for your business beyond diamond. Diamond is a very, very, very small stepping stone in my opinion. To me, it's just as easy as emerald. It's a mindset. Diamond is a mindset. Emerald is a mindset. If you are not diamond, it's because there's some part of you that's self-sabotaging yourself for some reason. You either have a pattern that you keep repeating where you get to a certain point and then you stop or you stall, or there's some part of you that has a limiting belief that doesn't believe that look, diamond is 8 coaches. Like, it's not that hard. So you're either in your own way. You also probably don't believe that what you're doing is making an impact. So you have to really, 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 really feel that what you're doing is making an impact. Recently we had a coach on my team who got to diamond. She was kicking ass. And then somehow she convinced herself that what she was doing was not changing the world and it wasn't good enough. And so she decided to do something else. And I was just like, what? Like, you're totally screwing yourself over because you're convincing yourself of things that aren't even true or letting somebody else convince you of things that aren't even true. So make sure you do understand that building a team is making the biggest impact. Helping people get healthy and fit is important, but personally, having given people the gift of financial freedom, I personally feel that what we do as team builders is even more impactful. I think it starts with fitness, but I think that watching somebody to step into their own potential and watching them experience that firsthand is a beautiful, beautiful experience. And you all need to be able to give yourself that. You have to be able to experience that first before deciding that this business is not for you. And then also you have to believe in your vision of influence in the world. A leader is somebody who first has a vision for their own lives and for themselves, and they know where they're going. If you know where you're going, then you can lead people somewhere. I knew I was going down this road of travel and freedom and being able to work from home and being debt-free and being like, I love it that me and my husband, like today we left the diagnostic center for my ultrasound and the valet, we were like, that's our car. And he like was like, that old Jeep right there. And we were like, no, the murdered out Tahoe. And people look at us and they're like, they get so confused because the way we look and our lifestyle. And that's something that I love. That was like my biggest FU to society is me and Kevin are heavily tattooed. We're super scrubby. And we live better than, 98% of America. And I love that. To me, that's just like a big middle finger to society and what they tell you you need to look like and act like and be like to be successful, at least in my experience. That's a big part of what drives me, is showing people that you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a certain way, and it's so fun to see people's snobby reactions to us, when we walk into a nice restaurant and they just like don't get it. They don't get it. So that's just like, there's a lot more that goes into my vision, but for your vision of being diamond, it needs to be about your team. I know for me, my first year, my goals were all about myself, and then it wasn't working for me. And like I said, I didn't want to play anymore. I wanted to quit. So I had to change all my goals to be about my team. So instead of being, I want to be a 15-star diamond coach, it was, I want to help 5 people quit their job this year. And instead of like, I want to have this, I want this much money, it was, I'm going to help 10 people to earn their first paychecks this month. And I had to, rewrite all my goals. I just had that cauliflower fried rice from 2B Mindset. I am addicted to that. I like scarfed it down before this call. But basically, make sure that your vision is about other people too, and not just you, because if you make it all about yourself, it's going to get real old real fast. And it's not fun, because that's not why we're here. We're here to help other people to achieve their goals and help them achieve their healthy and their fulfilling life. And so if you achieve that, and if you are living by the mission statement of Beachbody, you will achieve your goals too. That's how it works. Number 2, get very specific with your goals. I think it's really important to have a visual. If you don't have like a piece of paper up on your wall, I know that Colleen definitely has like a graphic that shows like, you know, you and then your team, and you fill it out, and it should be being updated on your wall, and it should be being updated weekly. It's not something that should sit on your wall and not be getting filled out for like months and months at a time. Like, your obsession should be your team and building your team. Know how many coaches you need to get to diamond. Know how many emeralds you need to get to diamond. Know how you're going to do it. Have an action plan. Have an execution plan. Have goals that match that. You know, in my team, our team culture believes that if you're not recruiting at least 4 coaches a month, you're not growing. If you're recruiting less than 4 coaches a month, you're maintaining or you're dying. So, you know, and if you're recruiting at least 4 coaches a month, there's a reason why you can't be diamond in 90 days. Diamond in 90 days is like, I feel like that is like an easy goal and a very easy push goal. I'm not asking you to push for number 1. I'm not asking you to push for elite. I'm not asking you to push for anything crazy. I'm just asking for you to recruit 8 coaches and quite possibly even recruit 10 coaches if you're building a spouse account. So that brings me to my next tip. Tip number 3. Don't wait for your social media to pick up. Don't wait for your team to follow in suit. Look, I saw Miss Christina on this call. So I know that, you know, you guys understand that there's this thing one of my coaches said, who by the way is like about to go from like 4-star to 8-star qual. And I had to get her over this weird belief system that she had to build her team organically. And I was like, what the F does that mean? Where did you even, what does that mean? Like, where did you even hear that? It was something she like made up. It was like, I was just like, you sound crazy. This is a business, okay? So if you want to reach goals in this business, you need to take control of this business. And don't wait for your prospects to say yes. Don't wait for your social media to pick up. You know, do what you can do to build what you can build. So there was a good solid 3 years where I was just muscling this business myself. My team was not showing up. I had people going to diamond, falling out. I would get to 2-star, back to diamond, 3-star, back to 1-star. And it got to the point where, you know, I was able to like eke out like elite and muscle elite. Like for the first 3 years of getting elite, like it was like by the skin of my teeth. And I was controlling this business center, controlling that business center. Now I have like a 9-star, an 8-star, you know, like I have so many business centers that are ranked up. It's not, rank is never an issue for me. But there was a lot of years there where like I had to build my spouse account. And when I first got to diamond, I had to control Kevin and my mom, and I could barely afford to control Kevin and my mom when I was a new coach, but I did it anyway because I wanted to get to diamond. I wanted to stay to diamond. And then when I had enough coaches on my mom's leg that were emerald, I canceled my mom and I just have Kevin. And that's the only account that I control besides my 4 other business centers now. So, but in the beginning, you know, like I had to get Kevin to diamond, and he had to help me to stay 2-star, and then he had to help me stay 5-star. And there was a level, and then my second CBC, you know, really helped me to get to 5-star that other year. So like, if I would have just counted on my team, like getting to diamond, there was many years where my one diamond was the second or third business center. You know, now that's not an issue for me, but in the beginning, you know, making diamonds is difficult, and building leaders is difficult. And so I highly recommend that if you do not have somebody signed up, like a family member, which you have to follow policies and procedures, make sure it's a spouse, a parent, or a child. If you not have them signed up on your weak leg and you're not currently building them, we talked about the leadership ladder for a second. Team leader is like, needs to be the goal really after diamonds. Like, team leader means that you're building your income. It means that you're building your team. It means that your team is producing. Team leader is very, very, very important. My coaches go from diamond to pushing for team leader. And usually in the process, they rank up to 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, because if you're pushing for team leader, you are building a team. So, or that organically leads to rank advancing. So, but at the same time, you know, a lot of my coaches, like I have one of my diamonds, and she actually is one of my newer diamonds from this year. Her week leg volume is like 1,300 right now. And she controls her diamonds. She controls her diamond with her mom and her dad, emerald and an emerald. And her weak leg is higher than my other coaches who are building organically. So, you know, I think that I know it feels like you're like paying a lot for your business, but if you're growing your team and if you're growing your business and you're growing your weak leg, those team cycle bonuses will pay for that investment into your business. And I completely 100% believe that in your first year, at least you should invest all of your Beachbody earnings back into your business. People are really quick to take their Beachbody earnings and be like, I'm going shopping. I'm going to pay off this. I'm going to pay for this bill. But you need to take that and reinvest it back into yourself. Go to Summit. Go to Tony Robbins. You know, boost ads. Pay for ads if you have to. Invest in your team. Sign up a family member. You know, that's what I truly believe, and that's what I tell my team. I'm like, most businesses in the world, in the real world, don't make a profit in their first year. So why do we get to make a profit in our first year? We should be reinvesting all of that back into our teams. I see things popping up in the chat. Okay. All right. So the fourth thing, 10x your efforts. So like I said earlier, like I'm just not willing to work hard enough for number one. I'm willing to admit it. And that is why I will not be number one probably. You know, there is a certain amount that my team has to do. But, you know, Ashley is pulling out numbers that I simply I'm not willing to spend my life doing. Like, it's just, I'm not going to do it. I've seen coaches do that and burn out. I'm all about sustainability. I'm all about enjoying my life. I always say, and I'm not saying she's not enjoying hers, okay? I just want to put that out there. Just because Melanie was top coach for 4 years in a row doesn't mean she didn't enjoy her life. I'm just saying in order for me to be number one, I'd have to sacrifice my life. And I'm just not willing to do that. So for me, I'm talking about myself only. If I wanted to achieve that, I'd have to 10x my efforts. So we're talking about diamond here. Like, if you're not diamond and you've been a coach for longer than 3 months, you need to 10x your efforts. So you need to times however many people you're talking to by 10. You need to sign up, you know, if you're signing up one coach a month, you need to sign up at least 5 to 10 coaches a month, you know. And if you're like, well, how do I do that? Work harder, talk to more people. You know, I sacrifice, and one of the reasons why I'm not willing to make those sacrifices now, you guys, is I sacrificed that. That was a sacrifice I made my first couple years. You know, entrepreneurship is working harder than nobody else will work for the first couple of years of your life to have the life that nobody else will have for the rest of your life. And I did that already, and I put in that work, and I have figured out how to stay in the top without having to do that. And so I'm not going to do that. Do I still work my ass off? Of course. First 6 months of this year, me and my husband and my assistant all worked 12-hour days to lock in top 10. Am I going to continue to do that for the rest of the year? Probably not. I have the summit coming up. I have the top 10 trip. I'm going to be in Europe for 3 weeks. You know, I have team leader retreats coming up the last half of this year. I don't turn it back on until fourth quarter. So I take a little mini mental break in the third quarter, and then the fourth quarter I turn it back on. That's just what works for me. But you know what, you guys, like, if my coaches want to reach a goal, what I do is I look at their numbers, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to get accountable. I want you to post in the chat box how many Success Club points you had last month and how many coaches you recruited last month. And if you had 0, post 0. Don't like, skip on the accountability. I want to see your numbers. I do this in every team call that I speak on. And the team's always like, why? Okay. And I do understand that maybe you could have signed up last week. Like, I'm not saying like 0 doesn't mean like you suck. But for me, in my experience, not me, like having to be accountable to my numbers and having to like show up for, and show people, recognition boards, like not being on them, like that stuff matters to me, And so I just want you to feel what it felt like to type out whatever number you typed out and decide if that's okay for you. Like for me, my first time missing Success Club, it was my first year as a coach. It was November. I remember it haunts me every day, November of 2011. And I missed it because I signed up my husband as a coach an hour too late. And so I had to start over at 0. And I actually wanted to see how many consecutive months I've hit Success Club. I don't even know. 80 consecutive months. So I would probably be more like 86 consecutive months if I had never fudged that up. But here's the deal, you guys. Like that was like 7.5 years ago. Like I could have, at that moment, I could have been like, I suck. I can't do this. I miss Success Club. Boo hoo hoo, and quit. And now I've been in Success Club 10 for 80 consecutive months. Like obviously that doesn't matter. Missing it doesn't matter. Hitting 0 doesn't matter. What matters is what you do the next month. So we have a launch this month. We have summit this month. This is your month to decide. And that's basically what I did. I was just like, okay, well, I personally do not like the way that felt. I do not like the way it felt missing Success Club. And I'm never going to do that again. And not only did I not do that again, I hit Success Club 10 for my first time the following month, and I hit it 10 every single month since. And I was only hitting 5. I missed it, and I was like, well, that's not cool. And so then I not only raised the bar, but then I decided that I was no longer going to ever miss it. So I hit Success Club 10 every single month since. And so if you're at 0, you have a chance now to be like, okay, well, we have a launch happening this month. We have 6 months left in the year. This is basically about the time that Amy missed Success Club her first time, but over the span of 6.5 years, does that matter? It's like your weight loss. You eat an extra treat meal one week. Is that gonna do something like change the course of your weight loss over the course of the next 6 years? No. So it's just really important for you to like I said, to that's my next step. Number 5, remove your emotions from this business. Okay. So it's a very hard thing to do, especially the women that we are. And if you're a male here, I know you have emotions too. But the thing about this business is that it's really hard for people to separate their emotions because, first of all, you believe in people. You want them to be successful. You invest a lot of time and energy into people. They don't see their potential. They quit. And you put yourself out there in social media. You open yourself up to criticism. You open yourself up. You make yourself very vulnerable. Vulnerability is very important for success. So if you're not being vulnerable, then that's something you need to do. But here's the deal, you guys. I don't think it's necessarily about having a thick skin. Barbie used to tell me, you need to have a thicker skin. You need to have a thicker skin. You complain too much. Blah, 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 blah. Like everything pissed me off when I was a new coach. Everything made me upset. I was like, this person's not being a good coach. This person's posting this thing. I was so about everybody else. And Barbie was just like, you just need to focus on yourself and you need to stop being so, sensitive and whatever. I was very sensitive. And I thought that I was growing a thick skin, but what I was actually doing is I was actually getting just more lighthearted about it all and not caring as much about it all and not caring so much about like, what everybody else was doing and what people would say to me or about me or anything like that. And I just kind of had a really great sense of humor. I just decided to have a really great sense of humor about it. And to not to not believe in people more than they believed in themselves, and also to not make other people's issues my issues. Have you guys ever heard that saying, like, not my circus, not my monkeys? Like, that was my like whole like mantra from last year because of all like the weird stuff that was going on with the company and like other network marketing companies and stuff. Like, I had coaches on my team that were literally like my friend one minute and turning on me and like trying to like poach my team the next. And I just be like, this girl's crazy. And instead of getting like upset and feeling like a personal attack, I just be like, not my circus, not my monkeys, block, and that's just what I do. And if somebody decides they don't want to work this business and, they're pushing really hard and they're doing awesome one day, and the next day they're like, I quit, this isn't for me. I'm like, fine, and I know this sounds really insensitive, but I really truly believe that this business is replacing people faster than they quit. That's just what I believe. I believe this is a numbers business. I know everybody has different philosophies, but I also believe that people who don't have this philosophy are the ones that are complaining about their businesses crashing and their income going down and not hitting elites and all that other stuff. So I believe, of course, I'm a leader. I believe my way is the best way, and I don't think there's any other way to be a leader. I think you got to really stand behind what you believe in, and you got to lead your team very strongly. And what I truly believe is that, and actually Carl was the one who convinced me of this. He convinced me of the fact that not everybody was meant to do this. In so many years, I thought that everybody could do this. And he was like, that is not true. And you have to be very careful of that. And once he talked me into believing that, and I realized that, and I believe that, I was able to let a lot of people go and understand that my only job as a coach and as a mentor is to find as many people as possible to introduce this opportunity to, and whoever is going to do it is going to do it, but it's not really in my control. And I let a lot of shit go, and I let a lot of people go. And it doesn't mean that I delete them from my lives. It just means that I mentally delete them because I need to make room for people who actually want to do this. And, there's only so much that we can do. And I think expecting any more of yourself is just going to drive you insane. And it's going to waste your time. It's going to take away from your family. It's going to take away from your life. And it doesn't have to. It's just really about creating boundaries. So my fifth tip is basically that, be willing to remove your emotions from this business, be really business minded. I kind of think of CEO mentality, like very strong businesswoman, walks into her office and, just doesn't, take any shit from her company or her seniors or anything like that. It's that's what I think of. It's I'm building a business here, and it's basically the book The Energy Bus. You're either on the bus or you're off the bus. There's no in between. You're either on or you're off. So you can stay on and we can ride this thing, or you can get the hell off because we're riding this thing, and I only want people who are going to be on my bus. And so I love that book because it gave me the right to be able to believe in what I believed in anyway, but it said it in a more eloquent way, I think. So that's it from me. If you guys want to do questions, I'm totally open for that.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's so funny. I didn't share the whole comment that I made to my team. I said, Amy was the first person, because I'm nothing like my upline, and I know that you're probably nothing like your upline from the story I remember. And it was so freeing to watch you just give yourself permission to go be and do you. And it's exactly what you just said. I'm going to do this, and then I don't care what anyone else says. So you were the first person to give me permission. So we actually have a really great question. Someone private messaged it to me. So this is a Diamond coach who's a kick-ass coach. She needs help transitioning her head from being a challenge group leader to a team builder. My challenge groups have been awesome since 80 Day Obsession launched, but I can't seem to get my head into recruiting to work this business with me.
Okay. So I do think there needs to be a shift. I personally, it's hard because like I lead with the fitness on my social media, and I lead with, with health and fitness on my social media. But behind the scenes, I'm all business. I talk about the business with my team. I even tell my challengers, like, it's great that you're doing this, but like, you need to pay it forward. I have a really deep belief in the power of paying it forward. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm from a 12-step program, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for 10 years. And I started doing Beachbody because I looked at it as the 12th step in terms of my health and fitness. Like, I can't continue to be, healthy and in shape and do this thing at the, velocity that I did at my first 6 months to go from like a size 16 to like a 2, unless there's something else to do it for besides myself. Like, I'm not motivated enough by myself. Like, I need to get out of myself to be motivated. I have to be, projecting things outward. So I have the same attitude when it comes to the business opportunity, that if I want to have the life that I want, I have to give it away. And I truly believe that, like, in order for me to take that step from a health and fitness coach to a business mentor, I had to switch gears. And something that Jeff Hill always says is that you have to go through periods of imbalance to find balance. And it's not necessarily about balance. For me, it's more about just like what's working with my life and working with my goals. And obviously, so here's the deal, you guys. If you're only running challenge group, you're just a salesperson. You're just commissions in, commissions out. That's pretty much it. You're going to hit a cap with your earnings, and that's it. If you really want to build that kind of residual income where, like my business has grown 6 figures or more since 2014, there's been no lull in my business because I've always focused on the business opportunity ever since I gave myself permission to focus on the business opportunity. And that being said, I help a lot of people get healthy and fit, and I do that too. But I have the same philosophy with my challenge groups that I do with my business. You got to show up. You got to be a participant in my challenge groups. Actually, I don't do challenge groups. I have a wellness facility studio on Facebook, and it's very lackadaisical. I'm very much like just kind of like hands in everything. But I truly believe that in order to get good at being a business builder and focusing on the business opportunity and recruiting people who want to build a business, your focus needs to shift from only talking about health and fitness to talking about the lifestyle, talking about, you're talking about money publicly, talking about those kinds of things, sharing other people's success stories, the lifestyle. That's what motivates people to want to do this as a business. So I talk a lot about the lifestyle because I can't talk about how much money I make. Otherwise, like, all these family members are going to be like, where's my piece? My mom's going to be like, I don't want to work anymore. She can't know how much I make. So I can't talk about that kind of stuff on social media. So I have to kind of just like show it, like with sharing about lifestyle. But I did share about my earnings up until I hit about 6 figures, and then I stopped. That was in 2013.
I think another piece too, and I bet that answer helped a lot of people, because I feel like one of the talks I've done at Super Saturdays is going from being a coach to a CEO, basically what you said, Amy. And I always tell people that you have to know like why you want to help someone with the business. And I know for me, kind of, it's basically I'm taking your words and like saying it differently. I was about the freedom, the adventure, which is of course why I was attracted to your business, Amy. The freedom, the adventure, like I didn't want to schedule. And so as soon as I figured out why I love the business, and I so badly wanted to give that to someone else because I'm like, this is amazing. And so like figuring out, it's kind of like the find your tribe thing, but I think that's really played out in our business. But knowing why you want to help someone, when you're talking to people, you can weave that into the invite, into the conversation, into the sneak peeks or whatever it is that you choose to do for, educating people on coaching. So that personally, when I made my shift, I remember being like, because I was hitting, back in the day, Success Club 44 was like, oh my God, for me. I'm no like Success Club 100 type of coach, but back in the day when I was doing that, and then I was like, okay, there's a lot of Success Club coming in. And then I was like, but like Amy said, it's just challengers in and out, in and out. That's not going to give me the freedom to go off the grid or to go on a vacation and to still have those team cycles coming in. So I got to Diamond. I understood where I needed to build my weak leg, and I was like, I need volume. I need a team. And then I figured out how I wanted to help people and like why I think this is awesome. So I don't know if that helps you guys at all, but like solidifying that made inviting the coaching just so easy. Now inviting to challenge groups is almost more painful for me because I enjoy the business invites more. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. We have another good question for you, Amy. What is the minimum amount of people that you suggest that new coaches should be talking to a day to build their business?
So before I go into that, I wanted to share that you guys, that my Success Club points are 50-50. They're 50% customers, 50% coaches. So there's not one way or the other. I am the kind of person where I help people reach their goals. So that's all I do. So if you want to be a challenger, work on your health and fitness, my body is my billboard. So like, I don't have to sell the health and fitness. It sells itself. I have to focus on the business. And so if you're ever wondering how to do that, get in great shape with the programs, post your body all over, your confidence all over social media. Don't have to be ripped and have a six-pack. You just got to love yourself and share that love with social media, whatever that looks like. And just find that confidence however you can. But then talk about the, income opportunity in the community and all that in the text. And that's where you kind of like meld the two so that it's a healthy mix of both of them. So my team, we do this thing, and you can search Brianna Headley in the Beachbody Champions page, but she introduced something to the team earlier this year, and she's one of my coaches she's been a coach for 3 years. She's just about to turn 25, and she's going to make 6 figures this year. And it's insane the growth she's had in this last year. And she introduced something called the 100 Challenge, which is basically like if somebody's not reaching their goals, I say, how often are you doing the 100 Challenge? And that's, then if they're not doing it during the week, they're doing it on the weekend. And so at the very least, if you're working full-time, if you're 100% a coach, if you're a full-time coach, 100 Challenge, you can do the 100 Challenge every day, which is 100 invites and 100 follow-ups every day. That's what my team does. And we're a cold invite team. I don't think there's anything wrong with cold invites. I think that they work. I think there's power in numbers. But then I also have coaches who really focus on the conversation. So I have another coach who doesn't do cold invites, and she does forming, which is a very succinct system where she's not in the forming process for more than 3 or 4 days, and then she gets the invite. So it's not that she's forming for like years. She's like, building a relationship for like 3 days, and then she's inviting. And so it's still, in my opinion, a form of cold inviting because it's really not building that much of a relationship. It's just acting interested in them first. And she's pulling out Success Club 30 every single month, talking to like 30 new people a day. So I definitely think that back in the day, we were told 2 new people a day. Like when I first signed up, 2 new people a day were enough. And then it moved to 5 new people a day were enough. And now we're in this kind of world where everybody's selling something on social media to somebody. And so I truly believe that you need to up those invites to reach people that haven't already been tainted by multi-level marketing companies. Or you need to do that and get really good at your marketing. Like in 2013, I got to the point where I didn't have to invite anymore, but I had to invite up until that point while I was building my social media. So you want to get to the point where you don't have to do that anymore? Make your social media an attraction marketing machine. So that's what I truly think about that. I think that if you're not diamond yet, you need to do the 100 Challenge every day this month.
That's a solid answer. And I love what you added on too about the other thing too. I'll also say what's amazing about this business is, like she said, one of her top coaches does do a little bit of forming and inviting. And so, I mean, we have team calls. We've had hundreds of team calls. You guys will hear things all the time. I want you to take something, try it, claim it, own it. Doesn't work, change it, tweak it. Try things forever. I'm still trying things. I'm still trying to get to, 10,000 followers on Instagram. I only need like 400 more, super close. So I'm always growing and learning. And I'm like, I'm talking to Christina, and I'm like, help me, like something's not working for me right now. May was great. June is not so good. So, like we're helping each other. Forever learning, guys, forever learning. 2 more questions. Do you have any tips for people who work full time that want to have a successful business?
You need to have a really solid power hour that's only focused on productivity. You should not be on social media or using the TV or using any sort of anything unless you're building your business. Like, you need to save all of your energy for business building activities, and you should only be on your computer and only on your phone if you're doing something that moves your business forward. The biggest thing that mistake that people make is they use their phone as a vacation, especially if you're working. You'll pull out your phone on the toilet and you'll like, this is my time to scroll Instagram. This is my little vacation time. And no, that should be a time that you're CCQing and starting conversations and sending out messages and sending out share cards. I worked my business there. I got kind of lucky though, because I started my business in a time where Instagram was just getting started and social media was new. And I didn't have the addiction to social media that a lot of you guys have. The thing I had to do was cut out TV. That was my thing that I cut out was TV. So I think it's just being very aware of how you're spending your time. And if your time that you're building your business is actually doing productive activities, because like the other day I had a coach on one of our calls and she was like, I work full time and I'm having a hard time working my business. I'm like, okay, how many hours do you work a week? She's like, I work like 50 hours a week. And I was like, okay, so there's 168 hours in a week, right? And she's working 50 hours a week. And let's say, so that's 118 hours. Let's say she's getting a solid 8 hours a week of night of sleep. So, and that's like not even sacrificing sleep. Like in my first year, I got maybe 4 hours of sleep. That's still 60 hours a week. After work, after 8 hours of sleep, 60 hours. I'm like, what are you doing with your time? Like working out, if you're doing like a 30-minute workout every day, like seriously, what are you doing with your time? I don't think people realize how much time they waste. So you have to become a master of your time, and you have to become a master time organizer of your time. And you have to become a master of yourself. You have to be able to control yourself. You have to be able to stay focused and not, watch a YouTube video and then jump on the training thing and then It's like you need to have your calendar and you need to follow it, and you need to have your days like from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. Like I lived off of my Google Calendar my first year. I worked full time. I went to school full time. I had a 4 hour a week internship. I commuted 2 hours a day. I had 13-hour shifts. I had 40-hour a week homework. And I was building my Beachbody business. I was new to health and fitness, and I was new to food prepping. And I was able to quit my job after 11 months, working my business 1 hour a day and on the weekends. How did I do that? Every single thing else in my life, I didn't have time for except for what I had to do, and that was Beachbody. So I think it's about sacrificing. I think it's about really being honest about how you're spending your time. And I think it's just really being in control of yourself and mastering your self-control and not thinking like, oh, I deserve to watch TV. I deserve to watch this. I deserve to scroll Instagram. This is my break. Like, no, like you don't get a break till you reach your goal with your Beachbody business. Like I don't get to do something till I earn it, right? I don't get to go just buy something that I want to buy because I want to. I have to reach a goal with my business first in order to, reward myself with something.
Ooh, this is a juicy question for you, Amy. I'm curious on what your answer is. Any tips on how to offer accountability to her business building coaches? How should she give them resources, trainings, but still have a healthy boundary so that, you know, she's focusing on her business? So pretty much like the relationship, the contact, the messages, like how to help them be independent.
Yeah, totally
Okay.
makes sense. So I truly believe that coaches are more successful when they lean on each other. I like to put together like little pods of coaches who are in the same, who are like in the same point of their business. So I have my 5-star or bus group, which is their small groups. They're only like 5 or 6 people. And like, for example, these girls are all pushing for 6 figures. They're all pushing for 5-star. At the beginning of the year, they're all pushing for team leader. They all hit team leader. And now, you know, they're all qualifying. They're all ranked up. And I'm having new qualifications coming almost every month with them. And so they're focused, they're like been in the business for years, right? So they're in a completely different level than my other coaches who I'm pushing for team leader and a solid diamond, maybe 1 star will come out of it. And there's only like 4 or 5 of them in there. And basically, I read the book, The 12-Week Year, and I was like, this makes complete sense. All I have to do is be an accountability, like another tool in their tool shed. So all I do is I only do 2 Zoom calls a week, and besides my team calls and stuff, but I only do 2. It's with the team leader girls and it's with the 5-star girls. And if you want to get into the team leader group, your week leg has to be at least 1,000, or you have to be a team builder. So you have to earn your way into that group. I have other groups that are pushing for diamond that they're all pushing together, but and I check in with them, but like really like they should be working with each other. And if they're not, they're bad, you know, whatever. I'm more focused on these 2 groups because these 2 groups have showed me that they really want to do this. And all I do is every single week is that we get on a Zoom call. It's actually on my team leader call before this. And they post their week leg volume. They post how many coaches they've recruited. They post their successful points, and they post how many coaches they have with successful points on the board, which basically is their team leader ladder and how close they are to that. And all I do is hold them accountable to their goals. And so every quarter we do, you know, the quarterly 12-week year goals, and I pull out their goals every single meeting, and I'm like, this is what you said you wanted to do. This is what you're actually doing. You're not going to reach your goal. And it helps them to really see that like what they want and what they're actually doing are 2 different things. And that's pretty much just my role as a mentor, in my opinion, is just to hold them accountable to their goals and to be like, that's not going to work. Like, you know, I don't want to tell them like, hey, hit Success Club and do this and you're going to reach 6 figures, because I've done that before. And guess what? They didn't hit it. And guess what? They quit the business. So I need to really monitor their expectations with their work ethic. And that's pretty much all I do. And in the process of just doing that, every single one of them, like I had one girl quit her job last month. I have another girl who's like, you know, I had 3 girls be able to open up their second CBC who've been coaches for like, some of them like 4 years. And like, I just started this year, and all of a sudden they're all ranking up. And it's like, why didn't I do this sooner? I don't know. Like Colleen said, we're always learning in this business. And for me, building 2-star and above leaders was so confusing. And then Moira joined my team, and Moira and I became success partners, and I saw what she was doing, and I was like, oh. And I saw what Melanie was doing, and I was like, oh. And so I just started duplicating what they were doing, and oh, lo and behold, it worked.
Amazing. Okay, last one, Amy, and then I'm going to let you go. I'm sure you're exhausted. I don't want to read the whole post, but it's our new 2-star qualifying babe that we were talking about. She has 3 young kids. One has special needs. Her husband works a lot. She's pretty much doing it all. Clearly crushing it, but she's really looking for advice on how do I get to the point with the little focus she does have to get above and beyond. She wants to retire her husband. So she's like doing everything she can. She's doing it alone with the kids at home, like, but she wants to know what else she can do. What should she do?
How long has she been a coach for?
How long, Krista? I was actually going to say just more time, like in your career, but
I'm my 2-year mark is in July. So
okay. So you know, you said something about my upline earlier, Colleen. My upline, my coach who sponsored me to the business actually quit after 2 years. So I figured this whole thing out really on my own and watching Barbie, who's my upline. And one thing that Barbie always said is that this is a 3 to 5 year business. And especially like if I don't know how much your husband makes, but I think what a really great thing to do is to reverse engineer that. So figure out how much you need to be making a week to, fire his boss, and then figure out what you need to do in order to do that. You're on your way. Get to 2-star, open up your second CBC, put it on your week leg, pump your week leg volume. You have a lot on your plate when it comes to family, but at the same time, that can really work in your favor because I know the one thing that Melanie Mitro has been very successful at is teaching people things. And so if you really capitalize on crazy life, but can help people build a business in short amount, with a little bit of time every day, you have the ability to really help more people to do this business, which will mean you'll have a more successful business. So I think it's just really working with what you have. Like, I know sometimes people are like, oh, well, I have all these things going on. It's making my life harder. Well, actually, it can work in your favor if you really learn how to teach that. And you really learn how to show people like, hey, I can help you. Where are my, stay-at-home moms with, special needs children or 5 kids? I don't know, 3 kids, 1 kid's a lot, where are my moms at that need to learn how to build a business, with very short amount of time? And if you can teach that to people and you can help them do that, then you will have a very successful business. And so what I think is that you need to give it another year. You need to be patient and you need to push. And, whatever you can delegate, learn to delegate. So whatever money you are making with Beachbody, hire an assistant, hire a nanny, hire a cleaning lady. Just be willing to do these things to help you so you have more time to work your business. One thing that Shalene said early on in my business is that, if you're going to be cleaning toilets, you're going to be making as much as somebody who cleans toilets. Hire somebody who is their job is to clean toilets because you should be building your business. You want to be making, one of my coaches, I think I make like $1,500 a day right now, something like that. And so, if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going to clean toilets. I work a business that I get paid $1,500 a day, so I pay somebody who that's what they want to do. That's their passion. That's their business. I hire small business owners. I don't hire big companies and they do their thing, but I think it's being okay with delegating and getting okay with delegating, which will give you more time to reach your goals. And then when your husband comes home, then you can reassess the situation. And I know people are like, well, I can barely afford food. I can barely afford this. But I don't think you realize how much time sometimes you take away from your business, making a bed and vacuuming and things like that, and cleaning, and that somebody else could be doing for $10 an hour, 2 hours a day, $20 a day. Somebody comes in, does some things so your house doesn't look insane, maybe takes the kids just for an hour. You get so much done in an hour, just that focus time just to have. I think that really just seeing where you can delegate, sit down with your husband. Obviously, I'm assuming this is a mutual goal you guys have of him coming home. So I think you two need to sit down and come up with a plan. Kevin and I are huge planners. We plan everything down to the conception of our child. So we plan everything. We talk about our vision every day. I think it's just about you guys sitting down and being like, okay, where can we cut here to be able to put more here so that you can have the time to do what you need to do and stuff like that.
Delegation is huge. That's what I was going to say too. Time and delegation. So
Thank you.
I know that Krista, hitting 2-star in 2 years and earning the income that you do and team leader, that's really amazing. So I hope you know that. And doing it, I have one little dude, and I seriously today was like, I have to message Krista and say, how do you do it with as many as you have? And so kudos to you, girl. I just hope you know that. The second CBC, if we rock it, is going to be the game changer. That could be the extra $250, $500 a week that you need. And my second CBC built pretty fast. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember when I said invest your money back into your business? you are your business. That's what I meant by that. You know, your family is your business. Being able to be 100% present when you're with your family that's what you're paying for. You know, like your kids know when you're working, but they also know that you're with them when you're with them. I think that's important too. I mean, like, I already am like, I'm going to have a wet nurse. I'm going to have a nanny. Like, I want help, you know, like I'm not going to try and be super mom and do it all. I have a Beachbody coach. I can afford that, you know, like that's why I'm a Beachbody coach. So I can afford peace of mind and a stress-free life, you know? And so start to use your income for those things. And you can talk about them on your social media. There's going to be judgment from moms who can't afford that shit, of course. But hey, guess what? There's going to be moms who want to afford that. And they're going to be like, sign me up. I need help, you know? And so if you're like, okay, I'm bringing on a nanny 2 hours a day. Oh my God, Beachbody. People are going to be like, what are you doing? You know? So there's going to be haters, but there's also going to be people that are like, whatever you're doing, I need that. I want that.
My coach, Liz, she started with a nanny 4 hours a week, and she's like, imagine no kids for 4 hours a week. And she was like, oh my God. So it's a game changer.
Yeah, it's like, you know, like the first couple years, somebody made a comment the other day, like, oh, you're so successful at Beachbody. I can't believe you're just buying your first house. Like, and I was like, okay. So first of all, like that wasn't something I wanted. And for me, I invested all of my earnings with Beachbody into travel. I literally traveled every single month for the first 3 years that I was making money with Beachbody. I had nothing else to show for anything except for that travel. But guess what? That travel made my business what it is today and gave me so many incredible memories. And so I may not have a fatty big house and a huge bank account. I still have an incredible business that, you know, I was able to save up for this house in 5 months with 6 figures in the bank on top of it in 6 months. You know, like when I decide I want something, I can have it because I put in with that with my business. And you have to kind of think of it as an investment into your business. I know it's like, oh my God, like I don't want to spend that money on, you know, blah, blah, blah. But it's kind of like what I did, where I spent all my money on travel as marketing for my business and for my life and for my peace of mind and for my lifestyle, for my, you know, for what I wanted. It's the same thing. You're just doing it, you know, for where you are in your life. You're, you know, stay-at-home mom, and, you know, you're investing in like some extra, like, you know, spa time and, you know, to relieve your stress and to work your business. Like, it is no different. It's just completely different priorities and a different lifestyle. And it's going to speak to your people.
So true. Amy, thank you so much for your time. Extremely valuable. Someone was asking about cold invites. I feel like I have some of your scripts or something. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I use Raina Odell's scripts. Just get her scripts.
Wait, whose scripts?
Raina Odell.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send them to you.
Okay.
I don't make my own scripts. I use Danielle Natoni share cart now. Like, I don't make up my own scripts, you guys. Like, Danielle Natoni did a National Makeup Clubhouse share cart. She gave you guys her scripts from Beachbody Champions page. Use them. She's ridiculously successful. You know, like, you just gotta just find. There's so much stuff out there. You guys just stop overthinking it and just take what's already given to you and just do it. It's just that easy. I don't think about like, oh, is Danielle's scripts going to work? I'm like, oh, Danielle's giving me her scripts. This is what I taught my team last week. These are the share card scripts. This is going to build our volume. Let's go. Like, I don't even think twice about it.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you again, Amy. Congrats on your little baby in the belly. I can't wait you're finding out the gender, right?
Yeah, I'll know in like 2 weeks, but I don't know if I'm going to tell anybody else because I don't want a bunch of like pink and blue shit writing it.
I put clothes in my registry because I didn't want people to buy me random clothes. So that's my tip for you if you have a registry.
Oh my God. Thank you.
All right. Well, this is so fabulous. I hope you all have a great night. And yeah, send me those scripts. That'd be great.
Okay. I will do that.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.